How do you feel like you guys are settling in with the new offense?
I feel like we're doing pretty good. I feel like every day we come out to practice with a mindset to compete and to get a new grasp of the offense. So I feel like every day, like I said, we just come out with a new intention and we have a better understanding of the offense just because we've been studying a lot and they prepare us pretty good in the classroom.
What are some of the challenges of being a receiver during the midst of like a quarterback battle?
It's a little challenging just because like if you're chiming with things, you're not really working with the same QBs every day. But we've been putting in a lot of work on the offseason, making sure that we're hungry, we're on the same page with the new QBs that we have. So it hasn't been as hard as a transition since, like I said, we've put in work in the offseason. But it's definitely a little different just because sometimes you don't know which QB you're going in with for like the series.
What kind of differences does that make in terms of the two of them?
It's just kind of going with the QBs. You just got to realize like what their strengths are. Like with Paul or Trent or Finn, just like with different QBs, some of them could throw farther, some of them a little more accurate on short routes, just things like that. So really, just going in knowing like who you're working with and things like that just helps you, be successful in like your series or whatever you want to say it as.
What have been your observations between Paul, Tyson, and Trent Morgan in particular?
Paul, I think certain things I picked out from Paul, I think I like his arm strength. I think he could throw the ball downfield a little bit more than Trent, but I think Trent, he has a little more, I guess you could say, poise or like, how do I say it, smartness on the field, I guess you could say. I don't want to say that in a bad way towards Paul. It's just working with Trent, being here before with him, and Paul coming in new. I know what Trent's about. Trent's a dude who, he's in the classroom a lot. He's not going to have a lot of mental errors. He's going to be in the pocket. He's going to make the smart reads, throw it around and things like that. But just see from Paul, Paul seems to have more of the downfield arm, do a little more vertical, things like that. And he seems to be a little more vocal than Trent, but they both definitely have good pros and good cons to each of them.
Do you feel like you're in step with one of them more than the other? Like as far as timing, you mentioned kind of that's one of the challenges. What have you noticed there?
To be honest, if I have better timing with anybody, I think it would be someone more like Finn or Dalen or somebody like that, just because I work with them more in the past seasons. But as far as like with Trent and Paul, maybe Trent just because Trent's been here longer, but I also worked with Paul on like on off time and things like that too. So I feel like really with either of them in, I feel like they could get the job done, to be completely honest with you.
How do you feel as a group that you guys are just progressing, given you have a lot of people back from last year, but obviously another year to develop here?
I think we're progressing really good. I think we have a lot of talent in the room. I think the young ones are, they're starting to catch on to like, the playbook and things like that and just little things you have to do. So I think, like I said, I think we're pretty good. We're pretty deep. We're fast. We're talented. I think it's more just the mental aspects of things, like you guys have said, recollecting the new playbook and things like that. But I feel like we're doing pretty good, honestly.
What have you seen from Elijah?
Elijah's been locked in. I've seen a lot of good things out of him. His releases have been really good. His hands been really good. He's been doing some pretty good things. He got speed. He just has natural, freakish, athletic ability that you don't really see in a lot of people. But like I said, it seems like this time he's getting more locked in and really like ready to get going for this season.
Do you expect him to make a pretty big jump this season?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. We're all excited about him. Like I said, he seems more locked in. So really, the things with him was like the playbooks and things like that. So like I said, with him being more locked in, I just hope that, like you said, he takes that step forward. He's a contributor, not just on offense, but on special teams because of his natural freakish ability and things like that. But I really think he's going to be a contributor this year.
As a wide receiver room, what are you guys really emphasizing to get more production out of you guys this year?
Being more specific on or more precise on the little things, top of routes, cutting in speed cuts or cutting out speed cuts or making them square, things like that. Physicality, being a lot more physical in the blocking game, just to open up, rather than a 10 to 15 yard run, make it 25, 30, touchdowns, things like that. And really, like I said, like the playbook, like we really just want to focus on like our mental errors and things like that. We want to make them so small that we don't have any throughout the day. We just want to make sure that we're always the group that's on point and, making sure that we're making our plays and everything.
What have you been working on personally recently in spring ball just to kind of improve?
Personally, I've been working on the most. I've been working on my top speed. I feel like that's what I need to improve the most. I feel like separation-wise, like once I get to a point in my route that I just need to create more separation from other people. So that's really what I focused on the most in the offseason, that and my strength, getting my weight up and also getting like my football strength up, being able to block DNs, block linebackers, but do that consistently, things like that. That's really what I focused on.
How do you see yourself fitting into the offense?
I see myself fitting pretty good, honestly. I see myself being a guy who can move around because this offense, it has a lot of like moving pieces. It's not just like an X receiver, a Z, and like an F. We move around a lot. So, like I said, that kind of plays in my strength. I think that I can move around a lot too, wherever they put me at in the offense. And that's really how I see myself.
You guys drops in practice, don't you?
Right.
Do you remember how many you had last year?
Last year during spring.
Well, yeah, I just remember. I mean, your hands are really good.
I appreciate that. We don't chart our fall practices as much as spring, but during spring last year, I think drop-wise, I only had a few. I don't think it got past 5, nothing like that. Yeah, this year so far I only have 1, so hopefully I'll just keep up that to the minimum.
What impresses you about Ricky Pearsall?
Ricky's a really good receiver. I like his routes. I like how he has speed, but it's control speed. You know, he can get going to 100%, but then when he gets to the top of his routes, he can shut it down if it's, you know, he has to come back to the ball, or if it's a speed cut, he can get in and out of it. Just, you know, those little things, like, he focuses on, like, really, like, and on top of that, he doesn't really have mental errors or penalties. Like, he plays a really clean game, and he plays a really controlled game, too.
How do you see him fitting in within the offense?
Kind of in a way how I spoke about myself. You know, he can move around a lot. He's very versatile, but along with moving around, he could also play like a running back type of thing or throw the ball too. He has a lot of speed, shoot more speed than me, so I see him, you know, being more of a vertical threat and things like that. But like I said, I see him fitting in this offense really good. It's going to work well for him.
To what extent do you mirror your game after him in the sense because you guys share that versatility?
Yeah. Like I said, really with anybody in the receiver room, because we have a lot of talent, I kind of go off a lot of them. You know, every time they have a rep or something like that. Ricky, I like to watch more because, you know, we play more the same position. But really anybody, I could take like little things for specific routes. Like Ricky, how he goes full speed and could just break down. Or like Chad, for example, he has a stride where he might not be going full speed, but you're not going to be able to tell just because how he runs. So really, I just like take little things from each receiver and hopefully he can put that into my toolbox to make my game better.
It's early in terms of looking forward to next season, but do you guys have any expectations for yourself as a room?
As ourselves for receivers, yeah, definitely we want to be the best in the nation. I know everybody says that, but we're really hungry for that, especially because we have so many doubters on the outside just firing up our fuel. We're just going to keep working, and hopefully we can prove everybody wrong. Not hopefully, we will prove everybody wrong.
When you talk about just versatility among the wide receivers, what strengths do you think that gives you guys in terms of an offense?
I think it gives us strength because like you can't really be set on like a set position on defense. You know, everybody can motion around to the slot, to the outside. You know, if we're in bunch formations, you can't tell if the inside dude is going to be blocking and running out, the outside dude, because we're all so versatile. You know, we can move around, we can all block, we can all catch. It just helps a lot to disguise plays, I guess, is the best way to put it.
At what stage do you see all of you guys kind of as far as getting down the playbook, the new offense that Coach Thomas is trying to implement?
I definitely think we're getting there. Some people are on different pages than others, but like I said, as a group, we're definitely getting there. Every day we have less and less mental errors. Some days, you know, I have a bad day, but for the most part, we've definitely been on our stuff a lot lately, a lot more studying, a lot more putting extra time, and a lot more just drilling the little things.
Is there something that stands out in particular, like one aspect that is the most difficult, I guess?
As far as learning the offense, I think one thing that's like the biggest change from the offense is like the words don't really have correlation to routes or things like that. So I think like as far as for me, that's what the biggest change was. Like, because usually I'm pretty good at putting like certain little things that would make me remember things throughout the play, but I couldn't really do it with this playback. I really just had to study and remember it like black and white.
So verbiage.
Yeah, verbiage was really a big change for me. Yeah.
What about doing a little bit more huddling? Has that changed?
Yeah, it changed a little bit, but I kind of like that better because you're in a huddle with everybody. You know, if one person's confused, even if like your receiver friend doesn't know it, the QB friend will know it. You know what I'm trying to say? So just that sort of thing, being in a huddle with everybody, being able to communicate, make sure everybody's on the same page. I think that kind of helps us because then, regardless, even if how do I say this? Even if you know people are on the wrong page, if everybody's on the same page and doing the same thing, it usually will work out right. So just being able to communicate and everything like that helps a lot.